Let's now talk about various strategies which may be used in teaching vocabulary items within a classroom. The teaching of vocabulary can be tricky and challenging for a teacher, especially a new teacher, because it's not as simple as it looks on the surface. It's very complex and involves so many things which needs to be done within the classroom. An efficient teacher knows how to build on what students already know. So he would design his lessons or choice of vocabulary according to the needs and demands of his or her students. And in this regard, the first and most important thing is to set achievable goals. Do not be ambitious when setting any learning vocabulary goals, but try to set those goals in a realistic manner. A teacher may also set his criteria for the selection of words. We have certain material in the literature which inform of some of the angles through which we could arrange our material, or we could select the material for vocabulary teaching. In this regard, the most important question is what vocabulary to teach. What words and which kind of words should be taught, and from where they should be collected. Because every teaching situation is different and students in different classes are different. So a teacher needs to keep in mind their level and their learning needs. Therefore, he may decide in a better way that what needs to be transmitted to them. Frequency is an important criteria. Frequency of words in spoken or written language and in the daily use of the users or learners of the language is an important criteria. In this regard, list of vocabulary items can be arranged according to learners' own areas of use. So, how frequently a word occurs in various areas of learners' use of a particular language, especially a second language, that can provide an important element of choice to the teachers. And then we also have range. Frequency is not enough. The words who are not only frequent but also have a wide range of use in learners' life, they become even more important. They are more useful for the learners. So, teachers may decide about it by using their own intuition or experience of learning and teaching. As we know that in most of second language context, in English language context especially, it's not the native speakers, rather the local indigenous teachers who have learned English and then they start teaching in their own context. So they have the experience of learning this language and using this language in various areas of the social life in those contexts. So therefore, they can decide the range of the choices based on their own experiences. And good course books always include such ranges. Then availability and expediency is another criterion. In this regard, we could find out the words of special relevance to the students. For example, words which are very useful for conducting an interaction with the class fellows or the teachers in an academic environment. The words which are needed to interact with other people in a social gathering or in an intellectual gathering. So, we know the various areas where different kinds of words can be used, and a teacher must make a student try their learning of vocabulary in those situations which would be of special relevance to them in their present or in the future. Individuals and collective needs of students are also very important, and it's very difficult to combine them sometimes because some people may have their own special needs and others may have different needs. And not only knowing the individual need but also the collective needs of a young learner is is a very important component. It allows students to select any words they wish to learn. So a teacher may focus on allowing a student so that he may know what they want to learn and what they don't want to learn. This may be very important from motivational aspect as well. When students will be given choice, they will be more motivated to learn new vocabulary items. Level of learners is also very important. Lower the level of their proficiency, the more common and neutral the vocabulary to be taught. So at beginner level, we know it's a common and simple vocabulary which is taught, and as students progress in their learning, it's the more difficult and complex vocabulary which comes in their way of learning. Similarly, learnability, the difficulty or no difficulty of words, lack of difficulty of words is also an important component. Does the word which are being posed to the students are at the level of their learning or not? This is an important thing to be thought about by the teachers. Then cultural differences, the words which has been presented in front of students in a classroom should be culturally interesting to them. Otherwise, students might lose their interest, and it has a negative impact on their motivation for learning a second language. Words can also be grouped in a systematic way so that learners internalize them in a coherent way, and also they organize in their own selves those words for their future use. There could be certain groups identified in the literature by various scholars which can help them or help our students to organize their own vocabulary knowledge. For example, words could be grouped according to topic. For example, types of fruit, types of vehicles, etc. There could be various topics under which the vocabulary items could be organized. Then activity or process, we could organize vocabulary items which are needed in a process. For example, buying a new car or opening an account, shopping in a big mall. There are various activities which involve various vocabulary items. So we could arrange items according to those activities or process. And then similarity or opposition in meaning, synonyms or antonyms could be arranged for various purposes. Then derivatives, the word and all derivational forms which may emerge from it can be put together. Then discourse markers, especially in spoken language. We could give the example of this phrase to begin with as a discourse marker. So various discourse markers can be arranged, or all words relevant to these discourse markers could be put in a group in order to make people understand, especially the spoken language. And then spelling or phonological difficulty is another criteria. There are many other criterions which may be seen for the use of new or young learners of a second language. It depends on the choice of the teacher and his skill to employ these methods. A teacher should decide about these methods according to the choice or the need of his students.